I think we all know Omsi 2. For a long time, it was the bus simulator. If you wanted realism, this was the game people told you to play. And to be fair, it earned that reputation. But that was a long time ago. Omsi 2 was released back in 2013. That's more than a decade ago. And somehow, even in 2026, people are still treating it like it's the standard. But the question is, does it actually still deserve that? Or are we just used to it? Let's start with something people don't really talk about. The developers. Omsi 2 was made by MR Software. And honestly, before this game, I had never heard of them. And after it, you barely hear anything either. No big updates, no major changes, no clear direction. It just feels like this small, almost unknown studio made something very specific and then never really moved forward with it. And once you think about that, a lot of things start to make sense. Because when you launch Omsi 2 today,
it feels old immediately.
Not in a charming way, just outdated. The graphics are rough. Low-resolution textures, stiff animations, empty environments, and lighting that just doesn't feel alive at all. And the weirdest part? It still doesn't run well. You'd expect a game that looks like this to run perfectly on modern hardware, but it doesn't. You still get stutters, performance drops, and instability. That's not just outdated, that's a real problem. Now compare that to something like Euro Truck Simulator 2. That game came out in 2012, even earlier. But look at where it is now. It evolved. Over time, it got better graphics, better lighting, better systems, better optimization. It moved forward with the industry. Omsi 2 didn't. It stayed almost exactly where it started. And then there's the DLC situation. Omsi 2 has a lot of DLCs, maps, buses, add-ons, there are dozens of them. But instead of feeling like meaningful expansions, they often feel overpriced. You pay a lot, sometimes almost the price of the base game, and you might just get a single bus or a small map that doesn't really change much. So if you want the full experience, you're not just buying a game, you're buying into a system. And even after all that, you're still stuck with the same old engine underneath everything. So at some point, you have to ask yourself, why? Because now, there's actually something new. CTS 2026. And this is where things really start to change. The first thing you notice is the visuals. This actually looks like a modern simulator. The lighting, the environments, the overall atmosphere. It feels alive in a way that Omsi 2 just doesn't. But to be fair, Omsi 2 still does some things really well, especially audio. The sound design in Omsi 2 is honestly still impressive. Engines, switches, interior sounds, they feel authentic and detailed. That's one of the reasons people stuck with it for so long. But CTS 2026 builds on that. The audio feels more dynamic, more connected to what's happening. Acceleration, braking, environmental sounds, everything blends together more naturally. So Omsi sounds good, but CTS 2026 sounds modern.
Der fährt, der.
Then there's the driving itself. Omsi 2 is known for being complex, but sometimes it feels more clunky than realistic. CTS 2026 manages to keep that realistic feeling, but makes it smoother and more consistent. The buses feel heavy, responsive, and believable, without feeling like you're constantly fighting the game.
St. Jotisstraße.
Bitte einen 24-Stunden-Fahrschein.
And then there's something Omsi 2 really struggles with. Accessibility. Getting into Omsi 2 is hard. The controls are confusing, systems are overwhelming, and there's not much guidance. You almost need tutorials just to get started. CTS 2026 handles this way better. It still has depth, but it actually lets you learn naturally while playing. And that makes a huge difference. So what does that leave Omsi 2? Honestly, in the past, it was important. It set a standard for realism in bus simulators, but it never really evolved beyond that point. No major upgrades, no real modernization, just more DLC built on an aging foundation. CTS 2026 feels like what Omsi 2 should have become, a modern simulator. Better visuals, better performance, more accessible systems, and still enough realism to satisfy the hardcore players. So now we're at that point where things are starting to shift, where the old standard is finally being challenged and maybe replaced. So yeah, that's where we are right now. A game that defined bus simulation for years is finally starting to show its age, and something new is stepping in. But I want to hear your opinion. Do you think Omsi 2 still deserves its place? Or is it time for something better? And if you want to see more Omsi content, check out the best worst simulator ever made. It shows a completely different side of the game. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to Next Simplay for more simulator content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.